Hello and welcome to BusyWorksBeats.com. I need you guys to smash that like button. Today we're going to cover a mixing topic that I think is overkill in the community, and it's mono compatibility. A lot of people are telling you guys to mix in mono or make sure you have mono compatibility. Guys, I could tell you that your ears will tell you when something is off. Like, mono compatibility is really for a perception of density, and I'll show you guys what I mean. So we're going to use the BusyWorks Beats AI Mastering 9 to demonstrate what I'm talking about. But here's the stereo track. We're going to just skip to the hook. All right, now what we're going to do is turn this to mono in FL Studio. Click this little View Extra Volume Stereo Properties button in the mixer, and then turn this knob to the right. It will merge the channels or make them mono. I will say there is a benefit to hearing in mono, which is to hear the movement of your track. When you're listening in stereo, you're listening to many different directions of movement. I mean, you have something going that way, this way, that way, this way. It's hard to detect the back and forthness when your back and forthness is literally everywhere. But when you make it one directional, it's easier to measure the back and forthness of your track. And now you can feel that bounce in that movement. But I think people overly obsess about mono because they think this is like the win-all mixing trick. Again, your ears will tell you when something doesn't feel right. So in a stereo track, the whole point of it is to have all this in-between space between your left and your right ear. If you're super obsessed about mono, you're basically removing all the things that make stereo special. So it's like, what's the point of having a stereo listening system if we're not going to use stereo? So let me show you guys a feature here in the BusyWorks Beats AI Mastering 9. If you go to the Width tab, turn up what's called mono compatibility. So what this is doing is pulling some of the signal mono. It's not pulling the entire signal mono. It's pulling some of the signal mono. What this does is it creates a contrast between the center image and everything else. So that's what creates the perception of density. And this is what people are mixing up when they say mono compatibility. They think we're just talking about widening things and making sure everything's like mono compatible. It's a technique to create perception. So let's pull this mono compatibility up. Now for this track, I like this at 30. So here's before. Here's after. You can really feel that kick movement because it's like we're putting an ISO on the kick. And that's essentially what we're doing in this plugin is we're pulling that bass element mono. So it's pulling all the bounciness, all the things that we perceive as bouncy, and it's creating an ISO. And anything even above that point, we're pulling in mono so that we're not distracted from the movement of the mono position or the mid position. And it opens up the dynamic of the track. And it's not because we're adding anything, it's actually we're removing the stereo-ness of some of the stereo image and making it so that we're only focused on one thing. Like I said, guys, it's a focus thing. It's not a mandatory thing to pull stuff in mono. I think you guys way over obsess about mono in mid and all this type of stuff. Your brain will tell you when something's off. Like, I'll show you guys what, a track that is super stereofied sounds like. You're going to be like, that sounds bad. You wouldn't even pick sounds that sound like this. So here, I'm going to mess with the phase. This is when your track needs a better stereo image and more mono information. Like, it just clearly sounds bad. Like, nobody would do this. Of all the beginner mixes I've heard, I've never heard somebody send in a mix that bad. Now, it does have some interesting qualities to it, but it ruins the entire song. I do like the movement of it, but it ruins the perception of the stereo field. Even messing with the phase doesn't help. Phase is basically just a micro delay, and it's just sounding worse and worse and worse. So that's when you guys would need to refocus on mono. So let's just see if we F up the stereo phase with the BusyWorks Beats AI Mastering 9 does with the mono compatibility. I'm just curious. I'm not even sure what this sounds like. So now let's turn on mono compatibility. So it salvaged the beat pretty much. Here's before. where it's like the kicks in your left ear. And now it centers it. Makes it palatable. Okay, so that's what mono compatibility is about. Again, I know you guys are going to hear a bunch of buzzwords going around, like you need to make sure your stereo correlation is less than 1, or like, or not in the negative, and you need to make sure you're, there's mono compatibility, because what if somebody plays this in a club? It's like, look at the average listener. Are they playing your music at a club? If the answer is no, why are we obsessed about mono? I think it's one of the most obsessed concepts in mixing, next to dB levels in the mixer. Because somebody asked me, okay, what dB should I put my kick? It's like, I'm not criticizing their question. I'm just saying this is a question we get a lot because of the way people teach mixing. They give you numbers. Everything is relative in mixing. Nothing is a number. So when you guys hear these people talking about numbers, they're just rough ballparks. It's not like you have to do, because everything has a different way that it interacts with the audio. If you're doing analog, that has a different 0 point than 0 in the DAW. So you guys are going to be not understanding these basic kind of principles. But yeah, that's what mono compatibility is all about. So let's do this one more time. See how you can feel that bass now? Now, another thing we can do now that we have mono compatibility is pull the width higher. Now, this width is not your average, just creating a stereo delay between your left and the right. This is a very advanced width knob here. If you guys, my favorite was the SSL Fusions width, but then what topped that was the Neve MVP width. So this is like a merge of two of my favorite units in one. So now we have a wide image without losing that impact of that kick. Okay, it's not even mandatory really that we have the mono compatibility. That's just an added thing to this mix. So here's before. Here's after. Now you can feel that dimensionality, because now the kick and the bass are in the center and they're moving in the center, and then everything else that's lighter weight is on the side. So now our ear can detect the directional difference in these frequencies and in their motion. And that's the point. That's the whole point of mono compatibility, guys. It's not to slam your whole track mono. Like, nobody listens to music like this unless it's like Benny the Butcher or Griselda. Like, you're not listening to beats like this. Like, even the kicks you guys have in 808s, they're not mono. All of them are not mono. There's a lot of stereo properties to kicks, snares, and 808s. So again, one of the most overtaught concepts in mixing that people are obsessed with, I should say, is mono and mono compatibility. So here's before. After. And that's without even adding all the bells and whistles to this plugin. Let's add a little brightness to it just to show you guys how far we can take this. Here's before. We can even add more width because we have that mono compatibility. Add a little more dimensionality to the sound here. Here's before. All right, so if you guys want a free trial of this plugin, go to busyworksbeats.com/AI mastering. I just really wanted to teach you guys why mono compatibility is important and how to use it and not over obsess about it. All right, so when you guys are stuck in your mix and you can't figure out where something is, check your mid and your side signal. And also, if you want your track to feel more dynamic, try focusing on the mono signal until you get the bounce, and then start listening to everything else. All right, so those are the tricks. Thank you guys for watching. It's Game from busyworksbeats.com. Peace out, guys.